Welcome to the 2020 BrewTubers Online Brewers Club Yeast Experiment. Brought to you by our proud sponsors. Imperial Yeast, a half stainless steel mash panel sponsor of the BrewTubers Online Brewers Club, an official yeast provider of the Yeast Experiment. Imperial Yeast offers brewers of all sizes access to world-class yeast and the best possible customer and technical support. Be sure to grab a pack or two now at your local homebrew shop or Woody's Homebrew. And lastly, Hopsteiner, the official hops provider of the 2020 Yeast Experiment. Get brewing.
What's going on, guys? It's Brandon Delakia here, Exit 12 Brewery, and I am here to do some 2020 Yeast Experiment beer reviews. Me and Nick are actually splitting these reviews because it was tough to get sort of locked down a day we can get together. We're both sort of, self-isolating with our families. If it sounds like that I am whispering, that's because my newborn is sleeping, so I don't want to get too loud. But we're going to try to knock out some of these beer reviews. The first one on our list, or my list, is Mike Dean from the Dean's List Kick-Ass IPA. Mike used the Imperial Flagship yeast on this beer, and it's their clean Chico strain, so it should just give a nice clean aroma and flavor. So let's get into it. Nice hiss off the bottle. Got my nice Exit 12 Brewery glass there. Gotta represent. Alright, we'll just leave a little bit of the dregs at the bottom. First thing I'm noticing is color is very nice, like a very light amber. Or a dark burnt orange, two finger head, very nice. Bubbles are rising, very good carbonation levels. So if Nick was here, he'd say, let's get a snifferoo on this. So let's do it. Okay, right off the bat, I'm getting really clean, estery, cleanness to it, and that Imperial Flagship is really just shining through. I'm getting a little bit of hop floweriness, maybe some mild tropical, maybe a little orange or tangerine, but it just smells very clean. Yeah, just like how I'm used to whenever we use Flagship, this nice, clean, crisp aroma on it. So we got a lot of these reviews, so I'm just gonna jump right into it and let's have a taste. Cheers, guys. Okay, so right off the bat, it's very clean, very crisp. Hit you up front with a few slight tangerine or maybe even like an orange rind, and maybe like a little bit of earthy tones in there. Very light bitterness. The bitterness is there, but it's sort of in the middle of the palate. Back end is extremely clean. It cleans out very nicely. There's no real lasting after flavors. Let me just get one more sip there. Usually this is where Nick fills in the time, but we're gonna have to make do. You're just gonna have to wait. Yeah, it's a very well done beer. Very nice, very crisp, very clean. I'm really digging the color. I think most people got right around this color, but I really love this. Like, it just feels like it's a beautiful burnt orange, and it's just a real summer sipper. It doesn't, like I said, it's not overly bitter, but it has that nice bitterness that you'd want in an IPA. Gary's grist for this beer was actually pretty phenomenal. So I'm very interested to see how these different yeasts play off them. So yeah, Mike, killer beer, man. Can't wait for the next experiment, and you knock this out of the park. Yeah, I'm trying to think if we've used Flagship before, and I don't believe we have. I know we've used Chico in other forms, but this is really like crisp and clean, and it's definitely making me think I'm gonna want to use it for one of our just like West Coast IPAs. So I'm gonna sip on this, and we will be back with the next Yeast Experiment beer. Cheers. Next beer up, Portly Gentleman's Yeast Experiment Edition. He used A15 Independence. This beer was brewed on 2.8, dry hopped on 220, kegged on 221, and canned on 227. Bradley uses the cannula just like us, so it looks like he got a good seam on it. I think he just bought his, just like us, so he's very new to canning as well. His OG was 1.064. Final gravity ended at 1.013 for a 6.69% ABV beer. All right, guys, let's open this up. Ooh, a little coming right at you. So it looks like Bradley uses the wide mouth cans. Pretty cool. Good pour. Wow, a lot of head on that. So Bradley uses the Brew Tool system. I'm pretty jealous of his rig actually. And this beer, color-wise, is very light. It's like a light for this style. It's like a medium orange. I can see through it, slight chill haze, but otherwise pretty clear. Definitely no particulates in there. Very robust head, maybe 4 or 5 finger head. Let's get a nose on it, guys. Yeah, so it's very clean. It has a similar aroma as Mike Dean's, but this one maybe a little more fruity. I think the Chico yeast that Mike used tends to, show up a little bit on the aroma. This is letting some of the tropical flavors go, or tropical aromas come through a little more. I'm getting some of those orange, some of those citrus aromas coming through. Yeah. Still has a decent amount of aroma on it. I know some of these beers have been brewed over a month. Still very good, still very fresh, but some of the first things to go are the aromas. So let's dig into it, guys. Cheers. Okay, so right off the bat, front has a good citrus burst to it. Still very clean, but it has a nice rounded back end to the flavor. Medium palate is a little earthy, but still very light bitterness. Very light bitterness actually, but it's got a nice little tang on the end from the bittering hops. Let me get out of the sip in there. Yeah, very good beer. Very similar to Mike's. I would just say this one's has a little more tropical flavors, and Mike's is a little cleaner, so that makes sense. The Chico strain's a very clean strain, and I think this is playing towards the hot fruitiness a little more. But yeah, both damn good beers. Cheers, Bradley. Beer number 3 of the 2020 BrewTubers Yeast Experiment. This one is Peter from Putnam Brew BBQ. It was brewed on 2/7/2020, kegged 2/16/2020, and he used the Imperial A24 dry hop. OG was 1.066. Final gravity was 1.023 for a 5.6% ABV beer. All right, let's get into it. Ooh, we're using some of that Sam Adams. Shout out Nikhil Nashikkar. Nice pop. Okay. Wow. That's like a 4 or 5 finger head. Color's about the same as everybody else's. A little chill haze, but very clear. All right, let's get a nose on it. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm getting a good pine aroma on it. I believe that's from the Simcoe. And a little bit of the tropical fruits are coming through. Yeah, so I'm getting some of that tropical fruit, but a little bit of the cleanness. So we just used dry hop for a beer that we did, New England IPA, that was in a local competition that we came in second. So I am familiar with this one. We've used it very recently. All right. Cheers, guys. Wow. Tropical. The Citra and Simcoe are really coming through. You know, I'm getting some of that citrus flavor. Very low bitterness. This might be the least bitter one of the group so far. But that dry hop is really bringing out the tropical notes of the hops. Yeah, it's mildly clean on the back. Not as clean as the other two beers, but I think the other two yeasts were more highly flocculating, so that makes sense to me. But yeah, really good beer, Peter. Yeah. All right. Cheers. Beer number 4. This one comes from Brewery. Matthew Morris. So he used OYL 200 and temp of 75 degrees. He brewed on 2220, kegged on 21220, and bottled on 22420. His OG was 0.065, or I'm sorry, 1.065, and final gravity ended at 1.008 for a 7.5% beer. So let's pop this bad boy open. If I sound a little stuck, ooh, bam. Let's pour this bad boy. I was gonna say, if I sound a little stuffy, it's just from having a toddler. That doesn't count. So I would think we would call this a 25 finger head. So I'm just gonna let this settle out and I'll be right back with you. All right, settled out a little bit, still a lot of head, but damn Matt, we're gonna have to call you Mr. Big Carb over here because this beer is definitely carbonated. But let's get a nose on it. So it's very clean. I'm not getting much of the tropical notes on there, but that's par for the course. These beers are almost a month old, so usually, like I said, the aroma is the first thing to go. Like I said, very stuffy from my my little Rugrats. So I'm getting this like mild yeast aroma in there. It's almost like a clean, yeah, it's it's almost, it's weird. It's gonna sound weird, but it comes off a little sour. But I don't think it's sour. It's just how I perceive yeast in aroma sometimes. So yeah, like I said, we're settling out now. Medium bubbles, great. Medium taupe head, white head. So let's get a drink on this bad boy. Cheers, Matt. Wow, that's very clean. Um, it's got a little of that tropical citrus right up front. Um, Medium sort of rounds out a little bit with a little piney. It's got a slight more bitterness than the other ones, but I like it. And then it cleans up really nice at the back. Yeah, that yeast is really shining through. Color, I didn't say anything about the color, but the same as everybody else's. That medium orange to like burnt orange. Yeah, that. What yeast did you? The OL 200. Yeah, that's really really nice on this. Very clean, very two style. Yeah, damn good beer, Matt. All right, cheers. All right, guys, beer number 5. This one comes from Nikhil. His YouTube channel is Nikhil Nash. Nikhil went with the plastic screw top bottle with the sticky note label. Pretty awesome. So let's just see what this bad boy says. This one's called the Hungry Hornindal IPA, and that is because he used a Kvike Hornindal strain. I believe that's how you say it, Hornindal. 92 degrees Fahrenheit is what he fermented at. This was brewed on February 9th and bottled on February 22nd. His OG was 1.064 and his final gravity came in at 1.012 for a 6.83% beer. So let's I was gonna say pop it. Let's screw this bad boy off. All right. A little pour there. All right. So a nice 2-3 finger head. Color might be slightly darker than the rest, but not much. It's still like that burnt orange, that amber color. All right, let's get a nose on this bad boy. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm getting a little of the tropical flavors. I always say flavors, aroma. A little bit of citrus. A little bit of vanilla. That might be some of like the yeasty character in there. Some of the Kvike. Let me just see. Little pine, little resinous. Could be the Simcoe, I believe. Yeah, this one has Simcoe. Yeah, just a little vanilla, a little pine in there. All right, guys. Let's go in for a taste. Cheers, Nikhil. Yeah, so it definitely has some of those citrus flavors. I'm getting a little tangerine. I'm getting a little just citrus up front. That Kvike has a nice mellow aftertaste. It's sort of like a coating vanilla taste, which I'm really enjoying. Kvike's supposed to, especially firmed at high temperatures, supposed to bring out the more fruity esters of the beer, and I am getting that. It's definitely fruit forward. It's definitely a tropical flavor up front. Yeah, it's definitely got all those fruit flavors from the Citra and Simcoe, and the yeast really cleans out nicely, but leaves that a little more of that distinct Kvike aftertaste, which is I equate to like like a dry vanilla, maybe like a dry vanilla extract. Don't know why. It's just sort of what I get sometimes with that Kvike yeast. I don't know how much I've used Hornindal. I think we might have used Hornindal strain on one of our beers, and we're pretty versed with the Voss strain of Kvike anyway. Yeah, so it's a very well done beer. Um, very clear. I mean, it's got a little chill haze, but I think all of us had a little chill haze. Not many of them were like super clear, but there's no particulates or anything. So a very finely brewed beer. Yeah, just a really damn good beer, Nikhil. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this one. All right, guys. Cheers. All right, guys, what's going on? We are on to the last beer, for me at least, in the 2020 BrewTubers experiment. I almost said competition. But I want to take this second to say how awesome everybody was who was in this experiment. It was by far one of the most enjoyable experiments, competitions, anything that I have done. It's just a damn good group of guys. I want to say thank you to the sponsors. I want to say thank you to Imperial Yeast. I want to say thank you to Hopsteiner, and I also do want to say thank you to Woody's Homebrew. Who you guys have been so awesome, and we can't thank you enough. Nick and I really did want to do these reviews together. We tried to hammer out a date. It was just very hard with the pandemic that's going on. I work in a hospital for supply chain, so this has just been a very stressful time. I have a newborn. Nick has a very young child, so we just couldn't hammer down a time to do these together. We really, really, really wanted to, and we just couldn't do it. And this beer in particular was one me and Nick really wanted to review together, because it comes from somebody in the brew tubing and homebrew community that we highly respect, that is just a boss and an absolute animal, and that is Brian from Short Circuited Brewing. This guy is just awesome, a phenomenal guy, always gives us great advice. Just can't say enough kind things about him. Check out his channel. You probably already have if you've been homebrewing. I mean, he is an absolute monster in this. His label is awesome, like a Voss West Coast IPA, and we'll just talk about this bad boy for a minute. So, obviously, I said it was from Brian from Short Circuit Brewers. He used a Voss Kvike strain, hence the name. He fermented at 80 for 3 days, and then rose it to 90 for 24 hours. It was kegged on 2/20/2020. Ooh, pretty cool. And bottled on 2/26/2020. His OG was 1.066, and his final gravity came in at 1.013, which gives us it doesn't have ABV, and I'm not gonna do that math. We're just gonna say it has some alcohol in it. All right, guys, let's pop this open. Awesome hiss. Now, I'm trying to remember, because Brian has every electronic home brewing machine imaginable, which one he used on this. And I'll have to look back at his brew day and find out, because I think, I can't exactly remember which one it was. So I'm just gonna have to, maybe I'll put it in the little thing right here. I'm doing the editing for this one. I know Nick always does the editing, but I'm gonna do it right here. Okay. All right, let's pour this bad boy. Ooh, very nice color. I'm loving, yeah, all the kids in the pool for this. I'm loving the color on this beer. Gary's grist was just awesome. Hop combination's awesome. A, you know, nice amber, golden orange, sure. And a nice one finger head. There's some rising bubbles there. Just a damn good looking beer. All right, guys, we're gonna go get a nose on this bad boy. So right off the bat, I'm getting a nice tropical hit, a citrus hit, but it's more like like an orange creamsicle, which I even said on Nikhil's. For some reason, I perceive some of the Kvike strains with like a vanilla-y sort of aroma and flavor. Maybe nobody else in the world gets that. It's just something I perceive. So I'm getting the tropical notes of the Citra and Simcoe with a little of that like vanilla-y creamsicle thing going on. So it's not more of like the actual fruit. It's more of like like an orange creamsicle or something like that. But yeah, the aroma is still coming very strong from this beer that is about a month, a little over a month old. But the aroma's still going strong. All right, guys, I can't wait. Let's dig into this bad boy. Cheers. Cheers, Brian. Okay, so you get a nice little hit of the citrus up front, and then it smooths out very quickly, and it has a nice mellow aftertaste. Very low bitterness. This might even be the lowest perceived bitterness of all of them, which is kind of nice. No heat, alcohol heat or anything. It's just a very nice citrus burst at the front, and then it smooths out. Which is interesting because I can't, whenever we do the Kvike, it tends to have this very yeasty after character, which I've equated to like a light pilsner sometimes, like how they sometimes they have that very yeasty aftertaste, and that could very well be the way he did the fermentation at 80 degrees for 3 days and then ramped up to 90 degrees. I think every time we've used the Kvike strain, we have done like a straight 90 to 95, like, really trying to drive those fruity esters out. And we've never done sort of a ramp up to that, which is very interesting and something I might try tasting this beer that is very clean and very fruit, but also very fruit forward with those esters that the Kvike's supposed to bring out. Yeah, that's just a damn fine beer. Done very well. Yeah, I mean, this has been an awesome competition. This is not a competition. This is an experiment. I cannot wait for the next one. It's just been an awesome sort of distraction from all the craziness that's been going on, and I can't thank the guys that did this experiment with us enough. You guys have rocked. We had a very active and great Facebook Messenger group going on that we went back and forth. Everybody on social, we've been very active on social together. This has been just an awesome experiment. I just cannot wait for the next one or anything BrewTube related, because we are just getting started with the BrewTuber experiments and other things like that. So I just want to close out by saying how thankful I am for you guys and how much this was just a blast. So cheers to everybody in this experiment. Cheers to the rest of the BrewTubers. Cheers to all the homebrewers out there. And yeah, just awesome experiment. Thank you guys.